I was just playing with my pendulum and some crystals to see how the pendulum would behave when dangled, above the crystals. Because it is said that you can tell the power of a crystal based on how the pendulum moves, right? So I didn't expect this, but let me just show you. Okay, so we have three objects here. This crystal is extremely significant, and actually significant is a funny word for it because I named it SIG, which is short for signal, because my twin flame across the veil gave this to me as a gift on the 1 year anniversary of me adopting our cats. So he had transitioned across the veil earlier that year in February 2021. So this was August 2021. And a few days before this happened, I made a joke that it would be cool if he gave me flowers. Because he had proven that he could give me all kinds of physical gifts. He's given me this ring. He gave me this ring. There's just no end to the gifts that he gave me once I asked. I said, I know you can give me stuff if you want to. I know you can figure it out. So I would love some crystals and jewelry. And I started to win things. And I had never won anything before, right? So this is new. I'm not lucky. People think, oh, you're so lucky. You get all these things for free. That's not what that is. This is Chris across the veil, interdimensionally, using his skills of after death communication, all his psychic skills, which are natural to him now, to get me things, to arrange synchronicities, to arrange divine timing. This synchronicities are arranged with spirit. They're like a puzzle, they're like Tetris. He showed me one time that like each synchronicity is kind of slotted into place, and if you change your behavior, like you're supposed to go one route to town and find a particular sign, and you change that, it'll show up somewhere else. They will rearrange the events and it'll show up. So that's why sometimes divine timing is relevant, because sometimes you're not ready for the synchronicity, you're not ready for the information or the sign, because sometimes they come with deep revelations and spiritually transformative experiences. But sometimes also you have interfered with the trajectory of your sign or your synchronicity from spirit, because you took a different route, you made a different decision. But it'll come to you anyway. So, how I got this beautiful citrine point, which is very rare, because citrine is not that common. It's expensive, and this is a big natural point from Brazil, and you can even see down into it. It's crazy. So this is my birthstone, and on that day in 2021, 2 days before this, I had said I would like flowers. Well, the first thing that happened was my friend arrived to take me on an errand and brings me a gorgeous bouquet of hand-picked wildflowers from her sister's farm. That has never happened since or before. And I was like, whoa, that's from Chris. The person involved totally gets the credit for following their nudge. They don't even realize it's a nudge from spirit, but it is. And that was my first hint that that day was going to be great. So then I get home from my appointment and I look online. And all I had to do to win this was make a comment under a post. It was a giveaway. It was the 10-year, actually maybe it was the 12-year anniversary of the place where I was taking crystal certification classes. And this was they gave a lot of things away regularly, but this was their big giveaway. And I still have never seen a giveaway that I wanted more than this. They give away amazing things all the time still, but this was my favorite. And I just said something like, I'm trying to find a better house, because citrine is for abundance and your personal power. It's related to your solar plexus. So I said, I would like, I'm trying to buy a house. and that didn't work out at all, but that's what I was trying to do. So I thought, and this is my birthstone, so that's all I said. And they picked me to win it. So on that same day where I got the bouquet of flowers, I also got this. And I named her Signal because one of her jobs is to help Chris and me connect interdimensionally. So just now when I was going to play with the pendulum, I just grabbed whatever was near me on the table here. So it's this Signal crystal. Now it's also this meteorite carving of an alien. I love this guy. He actually represents, for me, the extraterrestrial named Melifon that I channel regularly. On my YouTube channel, the Transdimensional Twin Flame, there's a playlist called Life Advice from an Alien. Now, I don't really call them aliens. I mean, we all do it, but I think a better word is extraterrestrial. And but I thought the title of the playlist was funny. So he is one of the beings that crashed his ship in Varginha, Brazil in 1996. And it's well documented. It's probably the most well documented UFO case in world history because lots of people saw him. Doctors worked on him. He went to the hospital. There were two beings in the craft, and one of them was found deceased at the beginning, and then Melifon was captured and then became transitioned across the veil not long after that. But he interacted with people. In the meantime, there's drawings of him, there's likenesses of him available, and he was a little brown guy with big eyes. They were red. And, this kind of just reminds me of him. He's actually a necklace. Like, he has a hole right here. So I can wear him as a talisman. So I just got this. So I just picked this off the table to see what the pendulum would do above a meteorite. And then, this crystal, it may not look like much. It's, some quartz. But I picked this myself on New Year's Day 2026. So New Year's Day 2026 is 111. It's a portal because 2026 in numerology reduces to 1. 226, if you add them up, is 10. And 10 reduces to 1. When you reduce numbers in numerology, you're just going for a one-digit number. If the digit happens to repeat like 22 or 11, that's considered a master number and you don't really reduce it normally, but if you did, like 22 would be 4. So, on January 1st, 2026 was the 111 portal, which is significant to me for a lot of reasons I won't go into. But I was also told several years ago when I asked if crystals really want to help us, I was told by my guides that they want to help if they are found on top of the ground. Like, if we can find them on the ground, that means they're ready to be our allies. So I had wanted to find some myself on top of the ground. I don't live in an area where there's crystal mining. So I was just taking a walk at the park on New Year's Day. And I saw these chunks of quartz. And I knew what they were. I didn't know if they would, have any metaphysical properties for me, or if they would want to be taken, so I took some. I didn't count how many I took. Turns out I took 9 of them, which is also significant. 9 is an extremely significant number for a lot of reasons. But these crystals turned out to be the strongest crystals I have ever had. I have moldavite. Moldavite's not a crystal, but it is considered one of the ascension stones. So these are stronger. In fact, they gave me vertigo, and I couldn't figure it out right away. I had them in a bowl next to my bed. Here's the bowl. So, there are also, my little spheres. This was actually a gift from Melifon recently because he appeared as a green orb in a video. I record my channelings with him. I read the journal that I channel into after I'm finished. And I was reading it, and a green orb, this color, this exact color, shows up on screen, and I get it on video. He shows up twice. And the other day, I saw a necklace with a green stone that just stood out at me and I had a jolt of clairsentience when it happened. And I knew it had something to do with Melifon. So I bought it. It was actually a free gift that came with another necklace. So it was a gift. I knew it had something to do with Melifon, and I had also separately, just received this. So this was his confirmation, because he had told me earlier that day when we were working together. Oh, look, see, there's a wishing line all the way around it. He had told me earlier that day that he and I have a connection to the green orbs. The green orbs are, the orbs in the sky that I record. I was on a beach trip with Chris Bledsoe that I invited him on. I had the idea that we should all meet, our friends and him, to Skywatch for a week in December 2025. Check that cross out. So we started seeing green orbs, and I recorded them, and I had actually seen something relevant to this in a clairvoyant vision from the goddess before we ever went on the trip. She was actually the one guiding this trip. I didn't, none of us can take credit for this. This was her. I followed my guidance. I followed my nudges. I did the right thing, by using my psychic gifts, but this was all her. So we see these green orbs on the beach, and, one of them has what looks like numbers on the side of them. And I had seen this in a clairvoyant vision before we ever went on the trip. And I told my friends before with the trip what happened. Did not know what it meant until we got home. And then Chris Bledsoe releases this image of a green orb from the trip that looked like it had like digital numbers on the side. So there's something about the green orbs. And I have like synchronicities with green. In fact, I live next to Green Street in the place I just moved from. I live next to these people named the Greens when, from the time I was 16 until we sold my mom's house last year. Then there's a million other synchronicities with green. But anyway, this bowl is full of these crystals that I found on New Year's Day, right? And they're interesting. They have some cavities, and inside some of the cavities are actually points. It's like a jumble of little clear quartz points. There's one of them. So I had never really, I'd never really seen crystals like that. See, there's one of them. And I noticed after I got them that I was dizzy. They were next to my bed. And, people say you probably shouldn't keep quartz next to your bed, but I didn't think about it. And I realized what it was. It was just these crystals. So, I should probably do a whole video about those later. Anyway, I'm going to show you what the pendulum just did when I experimented with each of these. The reason I went into that whole story just now was because the way the pendulum behaved related to the story behind each of these objects. Okay, let me see if I can get my phone in the right configuration. Ugh. Okay. This is not easy to do with one person. Okay. I'm trying to spread them out so we can see the difference. So, my pendulum, I have a love-hate relationship with pendulums because they're not always accurate. It is believed, sometimes, Spirit uses these. My twin flame across the veil, Chris, he uses it to say hi. We have our own little symbols, and other people in Spirit have different symbols, and even the goddess that I channel, she's source consciousness, the divine feminine aspect of it. She has her own signs as well with me, and they've invented some that I never thought of. I've got one person that makes this thing go diagonally. Okay, can you make the pendulum go diagonal right now? Oh, the camera is doing weird stuff. Can you make the pendulum go diagonal? See that? I don't know if you can really see that. It doesn't, it's like back and forth like this is usually no. Up and down like this is yes. Okay, now I'll ask Chris to show you the other moves. Chris, do your move for I love you. Okay, I love you is a counterclockwise circle. Chris, let's see, do your move for I don't know. When you don't know something, what do you do? Okay, so that is a clockwise circle, you see? I meant to get my hand in here so you could see that I'm really not moving it. Okay, let me get settled. Okay. Chris, can you show us yes? See? Chris, can you show us no? Okay. Can you show me I don't know? Okay. Can you show me I love you? And can you make the pendulum just stop? Okay, and as you can see, I'm really not moving my arm. The trick is to keep your hand steady. I brace it on my knee. You know, the only problem is some people say you shouldn't ask questions that you really want a particular answer. Like, you should be unbiased when you ask, because if you really want something to come out yes or no, you could influence it with your own energy. So, I believe that, but it's hard when you're asking the pendulum a question, you probably do want to know the answer. So it's really hard to be unbiased. So pendulums, you know, sometimes they can be really cool. I do use it because Chris knows how to use it really well, but I still have mixed feelings about it. So anyway, I'm going to see what the pendulum does above each of these crystals. And let me see if I can get my hand in there still. It's hard to get it recorded where my arm is still steady, but you can see. Okay, Chris, what do you think about this crystal signal? See what he's doing? That is the move for I love you. Unmistakable. And I did not expect that just now when I was testing this pendulum. Chris, is this because you gave me this crystal as a gift? Can you do I love you again? Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to my Mellophon meteorite. I wanted to see what the pendulum would do above this. It doesn't do anything. It stops. Okay, Mellophon, is this you? Did you appear on video as a green orb? Did you say that we have a connection to the green orbs? And did you just deliver the proof of that by getting me the little green orb crystal that I got on the same day that you said that? Okay. Now, let me see what it does on this one. Okay. Now, remember what I said about these? They made me have vertigo. They made me dizzy. I actually sent a picture of these crystals to a friend. I was sending a picture of the whole bowl of this little spheres on top of the crystals. It was not supposed to be a video about these. I mean, a picture of these. It was a picture of my little spheres, because I called them orbs, and I was like, look at my little orbs. And my friend said, that makes my insides feel swirly or twirly or something. And I'm like, oh my God, that is exactly what it feels like with these. Twirly. So I wanted to see what the pendulum would do on these. That was the first reason that I picked up the pendulum, is specifically to see what it would do on this. Okay, do your thing. So it's twirly. It's also the sign for I love you. But actually, when it did it a minute ago, it went the other way. Can you twirl the other way? See, it just switched from counterclockwise to clockwise. But the point here is this. I did not expect this. The pendulum moved in the sign for I love you with this one, which was a gift from Chris to say he loved me. The pendulum stopped with this meteorite. There was no movement at all, which, indicates some kind of magnetic field there, I think. I mean, all of these have different magnetic fields. And then this one twirled around because these make you feel twirly. I wonder what would happen if there was another one. Let me put another couple here and see if it does anything else. Okay. All right. So can you show us how the energy of these crystals affects us? Oh, it's being a smart aleck. It's like, yes, I can show you. That's the sign for yes. Will you please demonstrate what it does? Okay, now it's like, I know what you meant. Now it's going in a twirl. With pendulums, you got to be real specific with what you ask. It will only answer exactly what you ask. Can you expand this circle? Can you go the other way? Will you please go the other way? See, it said yes again. It said, yes, I can, but it didn't do it. Please go the other way. Yes, that's it. Okay, that may have been a boring video, but I was intrigued by the fact that this pendulum behaved in a different way with each of these objects, but the way it behaved was exactly relevant to the objects. So I might be playing around with this some more soon. If you watch this, thanks.